What? Over 80 million what? Who? Have you got one better?
If you remember mentioning anything yesterday.
No.
Treasures of this blessed land we always neglect like so.
Share the video, peeps. We're going in now.
Still this nation don't know how to change. For some change it might just mean a new car. Change could mean less than $1. To most change have this nice scent we usually get from the government. You see, change is something we always say, but every time we change things remain the same.
Ah, boy, we're talking about that change in the deal. I mean, how happened this morning? Me, of course, you know, the agent of change himself. Philip Alexander. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Kevin De Freitas. Good morning to the 104.7 family, the loyal listeners. Good morning to all of the Progressive Empowerment Party members. Good morning to the Greater Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning to all the people watching us live on social media, getting us on the air and on your website. You're not hearing me yet? I have to do that whole good morning over again.
You don't need coming through, but not as loud as I am coming through.
How about now? Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you have me yet? Put my mouth nearer to the mic. What about if I use this one? Would you get me better on this one? Try that one instead and see what's going on with that.
All right, go ahead.
How about now? You getting me good now?
A little bit better, yeah.
Yeah, that was very amateurish of us. I apologize, people, for us not being ready. Is this better?
Yes, that's much better.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning to the people of Tobago and Trinidad. Good morning to the 104.7 loyal listeners. Good morning to the Progressive Empowerment Party members, all of those following us on radio and on social media. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. How am I sounding
Very
now?
nice, very nice.
Yeah, coming across good. Those of you who are following us on social media, you could also get the feed on 104.7. Kevin, what is the 104.7 website?
YFM.com.
.com?
Yeah, wow. Suddenly I'm buying code blog.
That is a sign, brother.
Yes, it is a sign.
It is a sign.
It's a bad sign.
That's a terrible, terrible sign. Anyway, so I must confess, I spent the better part of my morning in a Scotiabank, so I didn't get to listen to what you were talking about. MoreFMTrinidad.com, that is the website. So for those of you overseas, MoreFMTrinidad.com, you could follow me here. If we're doing calls, Kevin
You
will...
can also get the app too. It doesn't take long to put the app in and check the Play Store. More FM you're looking for. It's a pink and blue.
There's a pink and blue app.
You know, it's a
More
pink
FM
app
at the
and a
app
blue
stores.
app.
Are they free?
Yeah, they're free.
If we take in calls, Kevin will open the phone lines in his gymnastic way that you will also, those of you following on social media, on my live feed will be able to follow. I didn't hear what you were discussing. Yeah, but no, I'm concerned about the people who follow me on social media because we get a large following on. And to all of you, please share the video so others will know that it is live and it is happening now. What were you discussing this morning before we broke for this session?
Well, I did discuss a bit about Maxi Coffee and his not Max, but of course I spoke of Maxi Coffee being dead or being a zombie. We still wait to see. We spoke.
He on the Santa Clarita diet.
I've no idea what he's on.
No, you ever saw that show, the Santa Clarita diet?
So that's a show about zombies.
It's a show about zombies.
Well, I haven't seen that.
That is one of the funniest shows you'll ever see. It's on Netflix. So if
I
you
haven't seen it, but it looked like a woman show.
no, it's really, really funny. You'll enjoy it.
Santa Clarita. Okay.
The Santa Clarita diet is very, very funny. I recommend it highly. So I get in telephone calls. I guess people don't know that we're live on radio at 11:08, and that anybody that's trying to call me on the phone gonna have to call me back after 12, or you could send WhatsApp and text messages.
All right. Wait, just now you can't take any calls. No, he will answer and get to you as soon as he can.
Kevin,
Before lunch.
Kevin, I want to tell you, live on the air, that I believe in the power of prayer.
Okay.
I believe in the power of prayer. I think human beings, I think at some point when we're sophisticated enough, we'll understand how energy works and the transfer of energy, and that all beings, all living beings, in fact, everything must have an energy signature. But I think all living beings transfer energy. People don't realize that when we eat a burger, what we're trying to eat is the sun. We're trying to eat the sun trapped in the meat that we got from the cow, who got the sun from the grass. So we're actually trying to eat the energy of the sun. And I know there's a lot to digest, no pun intended. Again, another call while we're live on radio. People forget that I'm on radio on Thursday between 11 and 12. So, and the transfer of energy, and I'm making a real long way to get back to this. And I believe that prayer transmits good intentions from one to another. When people pray for you, they want better for you. And I think that they could send some of their energy. You know, if you ever wanted to believe in energy, there are people that when you are around them, they just make you feel so alive. And there are other people when you're around them, they just make you feel like, God, boy, this man draining all my energy. And we say it like that without understanding what we're really saying is a fact. And the reason for saying all of this is because when I came in this morning, Kevin told me that his mom, who has a medical condition, you willing to share any information, Kevin?
I know.
His mom is battling cancer, and she was doing better. Now she's doing a little worse. And I want to tell you, Kevin, I am praying for your mom to do better. And I want everybody, Kevin De Freitas is a real good guy. And a lot of you who come to the meetings on a Saturday would have met him already. And I'd like you all, if you could.
Not been in the DJs. My head has been everywhere else except on these things these days.
If you could, keep Kevin's mommy in your prayers, please. And everybody else in the country who are going through the madness of life in Trinidad and Tobago. This country, Kevin, your mom is not here.
No.
Where is she now?
In Florida.
Getting medical treatment in Florida.
Yeah.
So at least you don't have to worry about her being on a urine-soaked mattress
Oh, God, no.
and being disrespected by staff
No.
and them calling you to say that they need to get Panadol, but they don't have no Panadol in the hospital, and if you could get Panadol and bring it, you don't have that to worry about.
You see, when you have insurance, it makes a difference. Huh?
You know, Kevin, the most expensive medical insurance you could buy costs $3,000 a year. That's the premium. Do you know that we spend $5,000 per year per citizen in this country on what we get for healthcare?
That's interesting.
That if we were to privatize our health sector and use that money to pay for health insurance alone, we solve the problem right there. Because the insurance industry is a big industry and the healthcare provision industry is a big industry, and we have no business being in either. Trinidad and Tobago is not good at business. Petrotrin is a case in point. Our oil costs us $60 per barrel processed to earn a profit.
That's interesting.
Guyana's oil costs them $19 a barrel. Our cost of doing business in Trinidad is artificially inflated by corruption and theft. You know that? Cost of doing business.
In the news, it looked like Barbados looking to start up oil too. Barbados is in the process of switching. Because they have such a large acreage of block they're looking.
Yeah, but all those who are looking for oil now reaching the game late. Because besides the fact that America is never going to allow the price of oil to cross $65 a barrel because they could tap into their reserves. Oil is no longer holding the world hostage for energy. There are too many different things. Right now there are tidal generators. If Trinidad and Tobago invested in tidal generators and put them on the east coast from Toko to Mayaro, it wouldn't affect shipping, it wouldn't affect fishing, it wouldn't affect the beach. Tidal generators alone could power this entire country. There's enough energy in one strike, in one lightning strike. There's enough energy to power all of New York City for a year. Actually, you can tap it, but that's another conversation. But the reason I'm telling you that, there's enough energy in one lightning strike to power New York City for a year. New York City uses, in 1 year, the power consumption of Trinidad forecast for the next 500 years. We are a dot. We are easy to manage. We're easy to mismanage, which is why the PNM and the UNC have made a science of it. And the oligarchs behind them have used the PNM and the UNC and the race nonsense to fool people into voting for PNM and UNC while the oligarchs rape and pillage and plunder regardless of who is in power. And today, I just had to share on Facebook, this is a nation of people being boiled alive. We like frogs.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
We like the analogy of the frog in the hot water. If a frog jump in hot water, it'll jump out. But a frog left in room temperature water that is slowly increased to a boil will allow himself to be boiled to death.
Yeah.
And I think Trinidadians, I think we're at boiling point.
Yeah, I don't think so. So you say we in that much hot water, we're not feeling it. You know, but we waiting on from the pot to the frying pan next.
Trinidadians are waiting on, I think, there's going to be, at some point, a mass awakening.
You think so?
I think there's going to be a mass awakening. I see all the symptoms of it now. People are already rejecting the racist nonsense of the PNM and the UNC. It's getting more and more expensive to rent a crowd to sit down on a Monday night to listen to Kamala talk foolishness, you know. It's getting harder and harder to pack maxis to follow Rowley around anywhere. The PNM has already started to self-destruct. There are already rumors of a Colm Imbert led, and that is why Colm Imbert is so silent.
What was that? Somebody said something to me about a party called PACT, I think.
PACT is a joke.
What was that?
We're having problems with the mic. You're getting my volume good?
Yeah, your volume is good. I figured out which mic you are.
This is what I laughed at, right? PACT organized a launch, a massive launch at Harper, what is?
I can't remember.
Panyard, Harper Valley or something, Panyard, Valley Harp, Panyard,
Right.
in Pity Valley. For, I think it was the 10th of March. When were we in Talparo? It was the same date that we were in Talparo. They were having this launch. And CNC3, Sabga News Network, get them real mileage. And I see plenty of information about the coming launch of this brand new political party. And they launch bus because they had to cancel it. And they said, this is what is funny, and I'll show you why it's funny. They said that the crowd that was anticipated was going to be so massive that they had to reschedule, which sounds sexy. Until they realized that what they rescheduled to was a cottage meeting in Westmoreland. So the bigger massive crowd that was expected in Pity Valley turned out to be a tiny crowd that was expected in Westmoreland, and they cancelled that too. So you postpone your launch and you cancel your launch. Contrast, and that is a party that boasting they have a $30 million war chest. But apparently, to have a public meeting for PACT costs $30 million and $1. Because it costs them $1 more than they have. Because when you contrast and compare that to the Progressive Empowerment Party that had no war chest at all, we funded this from our pocket. We've had 44 Saturday meetings in 1 year. 44 Saturday meetings, public meetings on a Saturday. We've had 15 public rallies. We've been to Mamaral, Talparo, Tunapuna, Santa Cruz, Diego Martin, Port of Spain. We've been all over the country. Barrackpore, South, San Fernando twice. We've had 14 or 15 public meetings, 2 protests. We led the protest against the cybercrime bill outside the parliament, very well attended. And the reason I'm telling you this is that Sabga News Network covered not one of those meetings. They were invited to attend all. And Shelley Das, Samson Nanton, because they are told they can't. The reason Hema Ramkissoon takes a hostile position against the Progressive Empowerment Party is because the Progressive Empowerment Party is hostile to the oligarchs that own CNC3.
We're going to be breaking here. It's now 11:90. Give that time check courtesy of Royal Castle. So you're saying there's some level of bias towards it, perhaps out of a concern for their position. You might be threatening their position.
There is a definite media, there's a media.
Just waking up people. What you think?
Kevin, Trinidad and Tobago, you want to have the highest rated event in the history of this country? More numbers than Anya Ayongchi porn video when it dropped. Bigger numbers than anything that you could think about. This is what I am proposing. Live on social media and on every other media, from any location, at any time, have a debate between Philip Edward Alexander, Kamla Prasad Bissessar, and Keith Rowley. And let the public ask the question.
That would be
Random lottery.
No lawyers allowed.
Random lottery. Let the public ask the question. One moderator. The moderator job is to keep order. That you have 1 minute and 15 seconds to answer. And if you cross it, we will deduct the time you cross it by of your next answer until you could actually rob yourself an opportunity to speak at all by wasting time. You see, properly done and properly run, that debate will be the biggest attended and viewed event in this country's history. And I'll tell you why. Because Keith Rowley and Kamla Prasad Bissessar are aware of two things this morning. One, that they can't debate me on public policy. They can't, and they know that. But two, frighteningly more, worse for them and their handlers, is that they know I know my country, I know its history, and I am willing to speak to that fact. And those things that have been hidden for the 56 years of this country's independence will have to be answered. Because at some point, you get to ask in that debate, why haven't you, with your term in office, fixed the police service?
Challenge, because you know they're listening. They are listening.
Why haven't you fixed healthcare? If we're spending the equivalent of $5,000 per person per year for healthcare, and we know that blue chip state-of-the-art John Hopkins, Walter Reed, best in the world healthcare costs $3,000 a year, how are we getting piss-soaked mattresses and no medication in our healthcare for twice the price?
When I was there, my mother had to bring sheets for me. They couldn't give me a sheet. They actually tell everybody, they have no clean sheets. So if you want, take the same sheet, same hospital sheet. Mommy used to take it and wash it and bring it back to me. Bring a sheet.
We spent $50 billion on healthcare in Trinidad and Tobago in the last 10 years. Post Dominica hurricane, the money that we spent on healthcare alone, we could have bought the entire island of Dominica.
Wow.
Trinidad could have owned it. We could now be Trinidad and Tobago and Dominica. We could have bought the island cash. We spent $50 billion on healthcare, and our healthcare is the most atrocious in the world. We spent $50 billion in the last 10 years on education, and our education produces in the vast majority certificate-carrying functional illiterates. People who cannot function in society and who cannot take advantage of an opportunity to develop themselves further. We've taken and robbed these children of the most important learning time in their lives, between 5 and 15, where they were supposed to build lifelong networks and establish themselves an opportunity to find where they want to go. I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a fireman, I want to be a soldier, I want to be a nurse, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an architect, I want to be a carpenter, I want to be a mason, I want to own a restaurant, I want to run a business, I want to be a petrochemical engineer, a civil engineer, I want to be an electrical engineer, I want to help put a man on the moon. That is what our education system is supposed to prepare our children for. But it doesn't. We have a system where our children are taken advantage of, bullied, made into criminals. We have a classroom to jail cell pipeline in Trinidad and Tobago run by the Ministry of Education.
Strong words there. Classroom to jail.
But that's what's going on.
Wow.
But that's what's going on. These little boys that wipe window and sell Pomerak during school hours outside Westmall, there is nowhere in the social development framework that accounts for them.
School might be going on and they were out there. They don't have to pay attention.
But legally, I want to show you why we collapsed. The social development framework must account for you as a citizen from birth to death. They could actually account for your well-being. That's the function and purpose of government. I know I talk a lot of this and people think, because we live in a country where the opposite has been the truth for so long. But we need people to understand why government exists. You don't need government for any other purpose but to take care of the operation of the country so that you could have a better life. Everybody.
Say that again.
No, but the well-being.
Say that again. That's important. What you said
But the
there is good.
but the well-being of the citizenry is the function and purpose of government. That is the definition of government. The well-being of the citizenry is the function and purpose of government. And when
Follow
people,
through of promises is what you say. Follow through of the promise made.
but they don't even need to make promises. What you need to do is understand what is the role and function of the social development minister. Because I'm telling you that now. The social development ministry is not to hand out food cards. It's not to be a ministry of silly walks like it was under Glenn Ramadan Singh. The social development ministry is supposed to know from birth to death the condition of all of the people of Trinidad and Tobago and manage that framework. We have these little boys that are school age outside Westmall, 10, 15, 20. I see girls now doing it. That they are outside there during school hours, and the social development ministry and the education ministry, those two together, cannot account for these children's absence from the system.
People, you hear.
You understand how you run a country? That the social development ministry is supposed to tell the education ministry, these 20,000 people at the age of 5, between the age of 4 and 6, coming into your system this year. Be ready for them.
People, as I was saying here, as I was about to say here, Mr. Alexander has a lot to say, a lot of plans, and many of you have spoken to me in the past, and many of the man have good ideas. The man has good ideas. He's explaining his ideas. We, the people, have questions. We wondering why things are the way they are, why they're not being fixed. We get in excuses. Mr. Alexander here has solutions. We're going to get into his solutions afterwards.
I just want to tell you one thing. Next week, yeah, we take all the calls on. Next week, Saturday, this Saturday, we go in Cuba. Next week, Saturday, the 14th of April, from 6 p.m. in Stanmore Avenue, there's going to be a meeting called Open Air, Open Mic. The entire meeting is answering questions. The entire meeting is an open mic for everybody who comes to walk up to that mic and ask any question about the operation of the country, the Progressive Empowerment Party, or me. And I said last night on social media, if it takes 12 hours for me to answer everybody's question, we will line right there in Stanmore Avenue from 6 p.m. Saturday the 14th until every question is answered. My role and responsibility in the politics is to inform, educate, and empower the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And if I never have public office, but I walk away from this with a country rich with knowledge and a people emboldened and energized and could stand for themselves, my life's work would have been very successful. Take your break, brother.
People, it's 11:27. Give it the time check courtesy of Racetrack Wheels. We'll be right back after these.
Mr. Toppers has a challenge for you. Try going back to ordinary snacks and replacing
People was asking why you didn't come to the sports.
Who?
Was not always the best, nicest people in the question. A lot of people did not like you. They don't like you how you go up against Kamla.
Yeah, well, you all have a pro-UNC following.
Why Harvey did not come either?
I didn't know I was supposed to come out of come.
I tell you come.
Okay,
I had told him on more than one occasion that challenge tell him bring a team.
I didn't
Then I get cut out in the tug of war, but I said alright, you know.
I don't think
work hard for that tug of war. I really work hard.
we have a team, bro. We have a powerful team.
I really work hard for that.
And
team.
we have an anchor that I feel if we anchor him, they're moving him.
All of this talk, that means nothing. Actions are, I heard what did we just say? I can just say talk and actions.
Check in all of these messages.
Alright people, so we get back inside a Sense and Sensibility here, and we have, it's questions. Now, you have questions. No, honestly people, you know to yourself, you have a question about the governance of the country. Your country. You like how things going? Many of you don't, some of you like it, some of you don't like it. You have complaints, you always want to know when, why, how you're going to fix it, how you're going to make it better. You're flipping and you're flopping. We know that's what we do. The Progressive Empowerment Party is here to present you with a third option, an option for betterment. Now it's up to you. You want to hear, you want to ask a question on how they would change something, how they could make it better. Now that's a reality that we all would like to know. We complain about the hospital all the time. Never have enough beds. You know the usual complaints we make. We complain about food prices all the time. You want a solution. You know you want a solution. We all would like to see a workable, fair solution. We don't want to see we get all these taxes. All these taxes we get now is because they're spending money back. I didn't know that. I told you this before. The money has gone to the friends, family, or financiers. Dregs, they need more, so they try tax on them, they'll pay for it themselves. You know you're not liking it. You know you're feeling it hurting. You want to have a different, you want a solution. Maybe you're thinking you'll get revenge in 2.5 years. Can you wait 2.5 years? Really? Just say. Philip is taking some questions here. How? Ask him how he can fix something in the country. I mean, you're not talking fix the pothole in the road. I mean, there's a plan for that.
Any question?
Any question?
Any
Ask
question
him
about
any
the management of the country, how we fix it, how we undo it, the historic roots of any aspect of Trinidad and Tobago. No, but some people need to understand. Some people need to understand. I mean, we need questions answered as well. And as I'm telling you, this is a precursor to what we're doing next week, Saturday, the 14th at 19 Stanmore Avenue from 6 p.m. If you're taking calls, I do have on headphones, so you have to share.
I wish.
Turn off my mic and bring it to the speaker.
Bring the headset inside, please. Chess, Mike,
so you can't just organize that. Let me hear you through the speaker now.
Hello, good morning. I'm alright. You have a question for Mr. Alexander. Alright, there we go.
How are you? Good morning.
Good morning.
Guy here. Oh, go ahead.
You can hear now?
Yeah, hearing you.
Okay. Mr. Alexander, I want to focus on governance, particularly the government-appointed board. I want to know how we are going to deal with malfeasance and I would say the suspect activity of a lot of the boards that have been appointed by this government, and in particular the PAT, the Port Authority Board. From my vantage, I suspect there are a lot of wrongdoings. The Prime Minister on one of the Joint Select Committee said there's corruption. I want to know how that can be addressed, if not now, when a new non-PNM government is appointed. I await your answer, sir.
We're going to deal with that, right? We're going to deal with them as they come one by one, right? Now, he asking about state boards. The Progressive Empowerment Party's position is that all non-essential state boards are to be shut down. We have more boards than we need, and that is a truth that we cannot escape. We do too much job for the boys' things, and we've allowed things to spin out of control. The Progressive Empowerment Party advocates for a 9 to 13 member cabinet. That is the entire government, all of the ministers, 9 to 13 ministers, key and important positions. A lot of the things that we have as boards or ministers should really be departments of ministries. And at another time, when we have more time, we'll get into that more with you. All of you who paying attention to the radio now, my name on Facebook is Philip Edward Alexander, and you can follow that page because every night at 8 o'clock, we do a live video and we also answer questions there then too. And you could raise these issues with me and you could private message me. Malfeasance in public office is something that we take very, very seriously. And one of our positions has been to disconnect the allocation of funds and resources from the buyer to the seller and put in between them a robust and transparent tenders board that makes all of the decisions that could summon the person requesting the need and those bidding to provide the need, and make a decision based on who is best capable for the job. With regards to the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago Board, we are overdue for a criminal police investigation into what took place, starting with the decision to terminate the Superfast Glacier, and every involvement from the government come right down from the Prime Minister, the Minister of Transport. We know that there has been glaring inconsistencies. The Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago, led and directed by the Minister of Transport, Rohan Sinanan, gave a company that did not exist, Bridgman Services, a contract to provide boats that they did not have. To me, that should be the basis for a massive investigation to start.
All right. Alright, so people, you got a nice question.
Cool.
Answered it. Yes, I see.
Sorry, no, sorry, I just don't want them to lose the...
No, we're not going to lose it. But alright, people, so that's what you're asking Philip Alexander how the Progressive Empowerment Party will make a change, a difference, and a betterment for the country. Good morning.
Hi, Kevin. Morning. Good morning, Mr. Alexander.
Good morning.
Why I support some of the policies you're trying to bring about? I know the hardest thing for him trying to get this entire population to change their mindset on how we deal with everyday life. But my number one question is, if given opportunity and getting elected to be in the government of this country, what is your party's position on having all state agencies working at full capacity? When I mean working, everything. I want to go in the office, and when I go down, they closing for lunch, like in office, different agency, when they go to office, close for lunch, people losing manpower, everything, all these visa corporation, the staff coming to for 6 in the morning, by the time 9:30, 9 o'clock, they done work and again, and hold 8 hours pay, every single different thing from the EMA, I mean, everything with Philip. Dr. Listen, thank you.
The public service has challenges, and we admit to that. There are things, though, that are set up to fail, and we identify that they've been set up to fail deliberately to encourage corruption. That if you have the licensing office or the health sector or any organization of state that takes days, weeks, months to do something that should take an hour, your passport, the court system, Ministry of Legal Affairs, all of those things that run like dinosaurs back from the prehistoric Jurassic era, we plan to put on a private sector footing. We plan to give value to high performers and replace from the public service low performers. That means going toe-to-toe with the unions, and we're going to have those conversations. At the end of the day, the people of Trinidad and Tobago needs to be guaranteed that you have a government focused on the purpose of government, the well-being of the citizenry. Take an example. I wouldn't privatize things. I shouldn't say such a broad base. Let me tell you this. Licensing office. You're supposed to be able to renew your driving permit 24 hours a day online. You could submit the picture. You've passed a test. And unless there is in the system a reason to question, like demerit points, you've acquired 10 demerit points now, so your privilege to drive is struck off. What Trinidadians don't understand is a driver's permit is not a national ID. A driver's permit represents a number. It is your picture and a number that the transport ministry has said that you have a privilege to drive on the nation's road. And that could be renewed, and you could pay that bill via ATM, links, credit card, online. We shouldn't have to have our people taking a day off to go and renew their driver's permit when they could do that online, as an example.
As an example, you know, there are other things like a birth certificate.
All of those things. Your birth certificate, unless you die, your birth certificate is supposed to be in a system somewhere. Yeah. That if you want a copy of your birth certificate, you could go online and pay $5, $10. Pay it right there online. Or pay it with an ATM machine.
That as taking jobs away from people.
No, because they have better jobs that you could create for people. You don't need to have our people locked in a dungeon, grinding out reports and grinding out certificates that could come out of a computer. We could develop our people so much further. In the 80s, India became the call center of the world. By the 2000s, India had more in IT patterns than any other country on the planet. We need to have a vision for our people. Take the court system. We have no case management of any value that work. Imagine in a country where all civil matters had to be complete within 3 years and all criminal matters had to be complete within 5 years. And if you cross 3 years and a day or 5 years and a day, the matter has to get thrown out. Imagine now judges who now at the end of the law term, you get to see all the judges who fail to keep their cases within time management.
You could point out those that are failing to do their job.
Correct. Replace them. Clearly, they should be in another source of employment. But you're not supposed to have court cases running 25 years. Kevin, it is an indictment against every aspect of management and leadership in this country that the woman who got raped in the police station by the senior police officer, that her matter took 17 years. She was raped in a police station. And the matter took 17 years. Everybody who had a hand to that failed. How does that matter take 17 years?
Because nobody wants to testify against one of their own. Simple as that. I would drag it up. People, ask your question. Hello, good morning.
Alexander, I want to ask you what preventive or corrective mechanism can be put in place to prevent a recurrence as the email gate fiasco. My personal belief that is the biggest coup ever created in this country by Atlanta.
We need the Speaker of the House to be functional. Wade Mark was caught off guard and he was not the right man for the job then. Because from the moment Keith Rowley started to speak, Wade Mark was supposed to suspend proceedings and ask to see the evidence Keith Rowley was about to read. And this, as Speaker of the House, he could have made a decision then to say this matter is highly inflammatory and you have no evidence to back it up. And I will allow it.
That's true.
And you have nothing. But I could allow it to be debated in-house, in camera. I will turn off the channel, turn off the live feed from the Parliament, and in closed chambers, present your case. That is how they were supposed to manage Emailgate. But like the current Speaker of the House, who she does not know her job. Because if she knew her job, Maxi Coffey would not be on his third granting of leave, and she is yet, as far as I am aware, to get a medical certificate, a proof of life document, or a fit for work certificate. Every time she grants him leave, she allows him to continue to draw two salaries, Member of Parliament and ministerial salary, that he cannot ever function for. And it's costing the people of this country millions of dollars outside of the medical fees that is being paid for him that he is not entitled to. And all of these questions has to be raised. But this person just asked, what would I put in place to prevent an Emailgate? Wade Mark should have been fired. Keith Rowley should have been dragged before the Privileges Committee. The entire country fell apart. The Commissioner of Police got involved in a job that wasn't his job to do. There was no evidence. Faris Al-Rawi asked the nation that I am going to present to you a man riding into a room on a unicorn. Now forget the fact that unicorns don't exist. I want you to focus on the man. And that kind of nonsense caught all the chief officers of state in this country off guard and showed the incompetence at the highest level. Because what was supposed to come out of Emailgate first and foremost was Keith Rowley was supposed to provide evidence. You can't bring that kind of scandalous rumor-mongering inside of the Parliament with not one iota, one shred of evidence. Because he put everybody in trouble there, you know. You know who he put in trouble there and nobody bring it up yet? He put the national security apparatus in trouble there. Because if Anand Ramlogan, Gary Griffith, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Modilal and the rest of them were really conspiring to murder a journalist via text message, and the national security apparatus did not pick that up, all of them should be fired. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? There are keywords in the States that if you type it in social media or on a text or a WhatsApp will cause you to get a visit from Homeland Security.
Yeah, they do pay attention.
It will cause you to get a visit from Homeland Security. This woman who went into YouTube and shot 3 people and shot herself yesterday or day before yesterday, they are now bringing the 2 police officers that stopped her when she was sleeping in a car and didn't press further. They're bringing them up on charges because you have a responsibility to follow through. The Speaker of the House failed, the Commissioner of Police failed, the Director of Public Prosecutions failed. But it appeared that nobody knew what was their responsibility in a situation where the leader of the opposition, who conspired with the chairman of the Integrity Commission in a private one-on-one meeting with him to scandalize the nation, scandalize the House of Representatives, scandalize the Parliament. All of that was supposed to be dealt with there. What did we get in exchange? We got us going to Facebook and Google and trying to get information. Google must be wondering, what kind of banana republic is this country? They have a national security apparatus to see if the Prime Minister and Attorney General and National Security Advisor conspiring to kill a journalist and to move the DPP and make him a judge so that they could get their own way. All of this foolishness, but this is what they do. They use scandal and bacchanal to distract people from reality. So to answer the caller, not one of those people would still have a job today and Keith Rowley may have been taken before the court to be charged with an attempted coup inside the parliament, because that is what he tried to do, without a single shred of anything like evidence. He was allowed to bring into defamation, odium, and disrepute members of the House of Representatives, elected servants of the people. That was an assault on the Constitution.
All right. Okay. People, it's 11:45. That time check comes to you courtesy of Hearty Foods. Take a quick break. We'll be back after this. We will continue to ask Mr. Philip Alexander the questions.
Trinity Lighting ETC Limited, the only place for light bulbs, parts and accessories. Located 123 Western Main Road, St. James, Trinity has the widest range of light bulbs, replacement parts for chandeliers, ceiling fans and other light fixtures. We use special orders for hard-to-find light bulbs and have month-end specials. Get 4 LED bulbs for $100. So don't go looking around. Call now, 628-8373. Fax 6.
Advertise the Toronto dinner now. May 12th, there's all PEP members in Toronto and any Trinidadians who would like to attend. Wow. The difference between the Progressive Empowerment Party and everything else that passing as politics in this country is the amount of work that we put into this. The public has so much information. We are challenging the government and the opposition on so many issues at the same time. It's never been done before. Not in the Congress and the people and a battery of lawyers and the Vernon de Limas and the Timothy Hammersmith. In fact, Vernon de Lima's son told me, he said his father, Vernon, is expending more energy and zest following the PEP than he ever saw him have for the COP, and he ran for leader of that party. We really are, and our team is doing an amazing job. I'm going to give you this to read.
I spoke to Brian still. He guessed it again this morning.
I know he was talking to me. I want to bring that up because we could ask him.
He was quite upset as usual when I came. So I went on the air with him, they bring him out inside.
The courts, the law and the courts are being misused to silence the public because there are no ways in Yes, people, we are on a station break.
10 seconds.
Paying the bills, we're going back in 10 seconds. Are you all hearing the callers when they call?
All right, people. So we get back inside a sense and sensibility right here, of course, on 1FM 104.7. You know I'm Kevin Fridis. Of course, we have Philip Alexander here with us, Progressive Empowerment Party. You got a question for him. He is answering your questions. Good morning.
Now, my question is, if given the opportunity, will you bring table legislation to remove this parliamentary privilege that all parliamentarians have? Because I find that we really have that they go inside there and make accusations against one another or call somebody from the public name inside and nobody can do nothing about it because they have a privilege. Let's not listen.
My answer is parliamentary privilege serves a purpose. Speaker of the House serves a purpose. Parliamentary privilege was never meant to defame third parties. if a matter is going to be, and it's a simple case of passing a law or a standing order where anybody who is about to call the name of a person who is, according to the House of Representatives and the proceedings, a stranger to the House, somebody not present. If you are about to call somebody's name, you are supposed to inform the Speaker of the House, I am about to mention the name of a third party, a stranger to these proceedings, so that the Speaker could instruct the Parliament channel to stop the broadcast so that the matter could be discussed, because the Parliament is a court, is the highest court in the land. So they need to be able to discuss without fear of defamation, but you should not be able to use the Parliament to defame people via the Parliament channel. So yes, the answer is yes, we will manage it, because there should be a standing order or a law that prevents parliamentarians defaming. It happened to me 3 times. So I know and I agree with you 100%.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Yeah, almost. No, all right. Good morning. Good morning.
Mr. Brandon, you are a national of this country, okay? I wish you good luck in in your party. But if to be any political party that comes to govern this country, there will be a lot of opposition. So why can't you all work with the government for the betterment of this country? Why another party?
Answer that?
Yes.
Because I believe that the PNM and the UNC have demonstrated a manifest incapacity, incapability, and incompetence when it comes to the operation of the country. And you do not need to continue on with them if you've seen over the past 56 years that they are incapable of doing the job. If you were taking a taxi this morning and you got in the taxi to go somewhere and you realize that the driver can't drive, the point you're in danger, or the driver drunk and the point you're in danger, you'd stop the car and you'd get out. And I don't understand, you wouldn't call your friend and say, come on, help this man drive this car. You will just get out and find another car. And that is how we need to treat our politics. The PNM and the UNC, not only have they been incompetent, they facilitated corruption at a massive, massive level, has cost this country trillions of dollars, and we have nothing of value to show for it.
Good morning. Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm listening to your program. I'm not come out in the license office in County. I paid $300 for inspection to pass my vehicle inspection. My vehicle next month will have 2 years. When I don't pay the time, I go in the back to make appointment. What day? When I go in the back, they told me I have to go transfer and go for the thing now. It's really, really hard. I don't know where. And you have a big place in County. They're collecting money, but the cash is not telling you. It's only over 3 tons they're doing in County.
That is ridiculous. That is a country set up to fail. Deliberate No, but it's deliberate mismanagement. It's deliberate mismanagement to encourage corruption. They must want you to pay a bribe.
$300. Yeah, just show you something. It's hard for me. I live in Sanigani.
It is ridiculous. It is Caller, that was ridiculous. It is as ridiculous as the people who go to the general hospital having a heart attack and being told that you need a critical test called an ECG, come back in 7 months. Maintain your heart attack until then.
Maintain your heart attack until then. Good morning.
I would want to find out from you, should you be given a chance to run this country, would you be willing to sign an agreement that all your ministers, including yourself, would be subjected to polygraph testing? Because I believe it has reached a time and place now in Trinidad where politicians tell our local, and the only thing that we could rely on with respect to them telling truth, they subject themselves to polygraph testing. Would you make this part of your government policy?
Caller, I love the suggestion. Not only would we agree to polygraph testing, we'll agree to random drug and alcohol testing too. But more importantly, the reason you have that problem this morning is because you can't fire the ministers and the members of parliament that you hired. The system that we have allows you to vote somebody in, but no way to take them out if they're failing. If this country had a simple law called recall, you could fire anybody who is not performing, who broke their promises, who came into the government and they offered the premise that they were capable of operating at a certain capacity and demonstrated that they can't. So yes, and it is a sad indictment of the nation that you would think that that is something that needs to be addressed. And I agree with you. We've had a bunch of double-tongued deceivers pass through the parliament of this country and brought the entire thing into odium and disrespect where the population is concerned. So if a polygraph test would do it, let's do that.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Alexander, are you there?
Yes, I am.
I must ask you the question because there's a burning question on social media and so on. I then feel that you've been having a conflict with a young person who doing his work. And I want to ask why you will take your Facebook page to go there and to attack this young fella. And do you think that this country at this moment really needs a third party? Because we see what third party do. The third party that come and then after that one join up with another party and then all hell break loose. It's history. It's history. We need to really look at our
Ask him for his question.
Ask him for his question. And really need to hold them accountable.
All right. What's the question, Kingsley? What's the question?
The country is ready for the party because we understand what COP.
That's not a question. Ask him what's his question. Caller, what is your question?
What is your question?
We don't need a litany from you of your opinion of the COP, the MSJ, the PAC, the AOI, the DAC, the DLP, the ILP. What we want from you a question this morning, how to make the country better on the heels of 56 years of drunken criminal mismanagement by the PNM and the UNC.
Okay, well, my question is, why you would want to look to tackle young fella?
All right, cool. Yeah, okay, cool. Thanks a lot for that. All of the talking heads that are paid by the political parties to discredit and defame, when they come up against Philip Edward Alexander, they will meet their line and their measure. I am not like the other politicians you encountered before. I have no interest in fooling and being dishonest, and if you attack me, you're going to get attacked back. At the end of the day, we want a country that works. I'm not in this for foolishness.
All right.
I think we could call that it there. Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 7th of April, we are in Couva. Esperanza is the name of the place, close to the Presbyterian School, at 6 p.m. in the afternoon. We're there. Next week, Saturday, is the big open air, open mic. Come and join and have a conversation. If it runs for 24 hours, we're there running for 24 hours. We'll call for pizza to be delivered. Come and have your say. We want to give Trinidadians and Tobagonians the opportunity to speak out against what is going on in the country and, more importantly, to add their own suggestions. We will be roving this once a month open mic session, and it will come to your community. We had in East, South, Central Tobago. But if you would like an opportunity, the 14th of April, that is 2 Saturdays from now, come out in your numbers and make yourself available. The PEP chapter in Toronto is having a dinner and dance on the 12th of this month and in Mississauga, Ontario. Tickets are $40 Canadian, and you could contact Anil, Maraj, Marissa Bash, Naz Gafur, and the rest of the team. If you want, you could send me a private message on Facebook and I will link you up with them. They just wanted a link up. The Toronto team wants us to be able to say that they're the hardest working bunch of peppers. But I want to tell Toronto all the peppers are a hard-working team. We have yesterday a political activist from another party told me, say, hey boy, that team you have in the PEP, they're serious, they're working. We are a year and 2 months old and we're already well established as the de facto alternative to the PNM and UNC madness, and we are growing with each passing day. If you would like to be a part of the Progressive Empowerment Party, you could message me on Facebook, message me 682-2110, and I'll guide you and hook you up with who you're supposed to deal with, to meet with. We have meetings generally every Saturday at noon, unless we're having a public meeting, and this Saturday our public meeting is in Couva. Come and join, come and be a part of it, come and have your say.
All right. right, well said. All right, people, so that's Edward Alexander, the PEP, the Progressive Empowerment Party, indeed. And just before we go, I want to remind you, check out the great specials at Hartfield Squeeze Street. Rima always has specials, especially on a Wicked Wednesday. And of course, don't forget, it's black. Kabuki is black. The night before Mother's Day is the May the 12th. You can check out that as well.
I'd like to say thank you, Kevin, for this wonderful show today. Thanks to all the callers, thanks to all the listeners and all those following on social media. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.